All right, today we're going to continue with Chapter 14, War and Revolution. And this is a very short section, Part 3, the Versailles Treaty. The war is over. They announced their armistice on November 11th at the 11th hour. But now they have to put together a treaty to end the war. Basically, the armistice was a timeout, and now we have to decide what's going to happen. Now, during the armistice, the Allies worked on a peace plan. Europe was devastated. There's high war debt on all sides. France and Britain want Germany to pay for the war. Their leaders, David Lloyd George, the Prime Minister of Britain, and George Clemenceau, the Prime Minister of France, have their own agenda. Now, President of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, sails to France, and he has a plan for a just and fair peace that would be lasting. It was called the 14 Points. Germany, of course, accepted Wilson's plan. Now, Wilson wanted to have a League of Nations. Countries would join together to work out problems so there are no more wars. Britain and France liked the idea of the League of Nations, but that's pretty much all they liked of Wilson's plan. They thought it was too easy on Germany, who they really wanted to punish. They have their own agenda, and that is to destroy Germany so they never can make another war again. All right, so Great Britain and France wanted to, 1, punish Germany for the war, cripple their economy, and 2, destroy their military so that Germany could never make war again. Now, at the Versailles Treaty, and here we see the beautiful Hall of Mirrors. You can see those lovely chandeliers. They actually removed them because there were so many people in this room. It is a big room. We've been in it, but they were going to have hundreds of people in here, as you can see by this photograph that was taken at the time. It was mobbed. There is absolutely no social distancing going on here. 1. Germany would have to pay war reparations, pay for the cost of the war. $33 billion to Britain and France, roughly equivalent to about $445 billion in today's money. 2, Germany lost all their colonies, plus land in Germany. Here we see a map of Germany before the war, and all the land in yellow was taken away from them. 3, Germany could not have a large military. They had to give up their air force, could only have a small army of 100,000 men and a small navy of a few ships. Here we see all their planes being destroyed, cutting down their large weapons. And 4, Germany had to accept total blame for the war. This was the worst of all. Now, on June 28, 1919, France and Britain forced Germany to sign the treaty. Germany had to sign it, but they were bitter and resentful. The United States refused to sign it. Wilson hated it. He basically told everyone that if they forced Germany to sign this treaty, they'd be at war again in 20 years. Wilson turned out to be right, since World War II will start 20 years later in 1939. So the United States signed separate treaties with Germany and Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire and did not sign the Versailles Treaty. Now, Germany had no choice but to sign the treaty. Germany's first president, Friedrich Ebert, who was elected in 1919, did not want to sign. Ebert asked Field Marshal von Hindenburg if the German army could resist if they didn't sign and the war started up again. Hindenburg said the army could not fight anymore. So Ebert had no choice but to sign the treaty. Ebert was blamed for signing the treaty by everyone, and his health got worse. And in 1925, he died at the age of 54. In recent years, Germany has recognized Friedrich Ebert as one of their heroes who tried to save Germany after World War I. So they have actually plans on erecting a statue or memorial to Ebert in Germany. The map of Europe was redrawn. The Austrian-Hungarian Empire was broken up into smaller countries. Hungary got its independence. Russia also lost land to create new countries. These included Poland, which had been partitioned by Prussia, Russia, and Austria back in the 18th century, was now brought back as a nation. Czechoslovakia, the Baltic states of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, Hungary, and Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia is actually a combination of many of the Balkan nations like Bosnia, Serbia, Slovenia, Croatia, and they were all put together to create the country of Yugoslavia. It broke up in the 1990s, as I told you earlier, and became independent nations. But these were the countries that were created after World War I. To show here on a map, you see Germany and Austria-Hungary and Russia, and all the new countries that came out of it. They also created a League of Nations. 40 countries joined. Ironically, it was proposed by President Woodrow Wilson of the United States, and the United States refused to join. Wilson was in favor of it, but the Republicans in Congress would not go for it. They felt the League of Nations would draw America into another World War I type situation, so they just refused to join. Wilson traveled the country trying to get people to support his plan, but while doing that, he suffered a stroke, which incapacitated him for the rest of his administration. Anyway, that concludes everything we have on the League of Nations. It was a very small section, but we do have the next section on the Russian Revolution. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.